here are the red flags that you should watch out for in papers. One, no control group. If there's no control group, then that means that you don't know what it's normally like. So, let's say, for example, you're testing a new medication. And as a potential cure for a disease. Is that you heal from eventually, most of the time. So, if for all of them for all of them, you do it on the pill, on the actual pill, you have no idea what would happen otherwise. Like, if they didn't take the pill, red flag number 2. Small sample sizes. The smaller a sample size, the more likely it is that just by random chance, you could get something that looks significant. 3. Claims that you cannot, if claims that you cannot verify without a blind without blindly trusting someone. For example, if someone says that you knew someone, if someone says they know something's gonna happen before it happens, and then it does, that's more, that's way, that's, at worst, that's a 50-50 chance. Well, if someone says after that they knew what happened is going to happen, that they can have, it doesn't matter, then you would have there's then there's no way to prove them right or wrong about that, which brings up another red flag, which is unfalsifiable claims. If someone says claims that can't be proven false, that's a red flag. Don't mean like can't be proven false, as in like that are true. What I mean is like things that are worded in such a way that there's no way to prove or disprove them. The next red flag is statements that along lines of don't be blinded by your ego, or because you don't believe me, that proves me right. or the worst one, is what they don't want you to know. Though statements like that are statements like that are irrelevant to actual science. So putting in a scientific paper does not make them more credible. In fact, you could argue that it makes it less credible. And since it's trying to manipulate you. Next red flag. If someone if a paper says something that is something like you can predict if something sounds like it contradicts itself, then it wasn't written well, or it was made that way intentionally to trick and deceive you. This next one's not really a red flag, but more of like an orange flag. You should proceed with caution. So, example, if someone has if someone is if someone has as if someone has something to benefit from people believing in a paper that they post, this is like a make sure not to confuse this with something else which isn't a flag at all. It's just like when people require you to pay money to see their papers. For this thing, I'm talking about, like, if they're selling a product that won't work with, that requires their theory to work. Next red flag, if an entire... This is like one of the three biggest red flags. So it's one of the three last ones I'm saying. So it is when a majority of when a majority of the people that research a topic say if something is going against what everyone's saying in that field, it's, that's a bad sign. It's even worse if even after that paper is published, people still go, people still all have the same response. Science is not an authority. Science there is no big science. Science is science is like scientific consensus is got that way because there's lots of evidence supporting it. There's no bureaucracy of science. Science is not a single entity. It's this science is fine is fine is find is scientists are not people that work scientists are not people that just read stuff to other people off of a book. Look, scientists are people that deduce facts using the scientific method. Second major big flag. And if a paper is posted on if a paper is posted about a correlation after number. Oh, wait a minute. That's not. So, the second major one is if a paper is published in a journal that doesn't have a good track record or like if a paper is posted in a journal that doesn't have a good reputation, that says that's not good. That doesn't. You should. That's a red flag. Note that it's not a red flag if a journal's reputation goes bad after it's been uploaded. But if it's gone bad before, that's not a good sign. The final one is if you don't is for papers that aren't peer reviewed. If it's not peer reviewed, that means that there's no that you have to just trust that the person publishing it hasn't just made everything up that he put in the paper. Because if it's peer reviewed doesn't mean it's it's looked at by friends. Peer reviewed means that scientists have done have seen the paper done the experiments and and found the and didn't find and found no and found the same result. If it's not peer-reviewed, it's not science. So, hopefully that should clear up any misconceptions about scientific papers. And that should also help prevent and people from and go all about to prevent people from falling for the sensation or the wild claims made by charlatans, and like, for example, suspicious observers. Also, one last orange flag is if another paper says the exact same thing, like word for word. That is a red flag, because that's a bad sign, because if it does, it means that it's published by the same person, and therefore should not be counted as a separate paper, but as the same one. True scientific papers shouldn't should not actual scientific papers, instead of pseudoscience and conspiracy theorists, it's pretending that, trying to claim that it's a scientific paper. They own the actual scientific papers, instead of will not be word for word replicas, because as if it's from a different person and saying the same thing, then that is plagiarism, which is illegal. So, yeah. So, bye.